Joffrey, Renly, Robb Stark are all thieves. They'll bend the knee or I'll destroy them.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Citadel with me, Grand Maester Stitch, where we return to the Knights of Andalia, but this will be a different type of episode. We're going to have an overview episode here. Normally we will do it as a stream, but unfortunately my internet is absolutely dismal at the moment, so we're going to be doing it as just a normal video. We won't pass any time, we're just going to do an overview of the realm, which a lot of you have been asking for. It's been a little while since we last had one. So we'll start in 7 support, as we always do. And we'll work our way around the kingdom, looking at the lords and their houses, how they're doing, and how everything else is going. So we'll start with King Florian, the first of his name, who is the new 11-year-old king. So at least it's only 5 years until we get out of Regency. And he's looking very martial-based. Well, he's looking very all-rounded so far, which is good. He's got some interesting child traits, which could turn into some interesting things. So that's cool to see. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of character we have. And we've got 54,000 men now, apparently, as well. So that's more than what Anger could have. So hopefully the realm will slowly recover. As I am slightly worried about the west to the south, which we will look at later. We have his brother, Prince Theon of Andalia, who's looking pretty decent. Attractive, idolizer and kind. We have Prince Lister, who's still too young to have gained anything. And Prince Anger. So them, yeah, they've all got slightly a bit of money. So I'm guessing that's where all our wealth went. And poor Florian barely got anything and he's now massively in debt. Well, only slightly in debt. Hopefully we can get out of that soon, but we could really do with the money. Let's have a look at the Sevenstar family tree now then and have a look at how it's actually doing if we zoom out. Right, so pretty big now. How many Sevenstars have we got still alive? Obviously we have Enger's siblings. His younger brother Owen died without any children. Freya died stillborn, Lionel died stillborn, Lister obviously was slayed by Lord Danes of the Fingers, Rennie is still alive with her 2 7-star children, and Kyra is still alive with her 3 Royce children that are still alive. So there are some of that 7-star branch still alive at least. I think the Benjicott line is still alive as well through, yeah, Anger, our cousin who was killed in the last episode. He has 2 daughters. And Roland has 5 daughters. So there's a hell of a lot of female 7-stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 7-star princesses. So a huge amount of them. And 4 boys. So although they're all children, the 7-star line is pretty secure at least. If most of those can make it to adulthood. I think Owen's line did die out a long time ago, didn't it? Let's have a look. Yeah, some Royces, some Greystarks, Upcliff. Yeah, that line is completely died out of 7-stars, so this is the only line still going. Has Ambrose's line actually? Because we're actually through Lionel's line now, aren't we? Which is quite interesting. But I think we are technically still going through King Enger's line, aren't we? Through Lyanna. I'm pretty sure. Queen Lyanna. Yeah, we are. So they do merge together there. How many of Anger II's children are still alive? That would be an interesting thing to have a look at. Dead. Wow, so Mage Stark, Hilario, Daemon, and Alex Snow are the only ones left alive. Who did she have children with? With the Muds, okay. So 1, 2... There's only 4 left alive. Hilario's as good as dead, though. So there's 3 left alive. That's crazy. Mage Stark, who hasn't got any children. Apparently. I think she did. I think her children were corporees, weren't they? But all the others have died now. So pretty much only Daemon and Alex Snow left. Alex does have the Mud children, we've just seen. And then Daemon. Wow. Come on, Daemon. You can keep going. Don't die on us yet. So the 7-star line's doing pretty well. Total members 61. There's 21 living members of House Sevenstar. Still going well and strong. So that's good. Maester Daemon still going strong at the age of 60. Okay, that's good to see. Hopefully he continues to live on. So we'll look at the old Andalian houses first. So if we go over to Old Castle, we've got Lord Allard Bloom, who's pretty impressive. He's got no siblings, but he does have uncles and such, I believe. Quick, attractive, a squire, fussy, and a trained fighter. Wow, 7,750 men, so that's good. The Blooms are nice and powerful, in strong hands with Lord Allard, who is betrothed to a Josso. Let's have a look at the Bloom family tree, see how they're doing. There's 14 living members, apparently, so his uncle Adron Bloom is still alive. We'll just look through the male lines because we want to see what male Blooms are still alive. So they're out that line. So Adron, Randa's obviously not got male heirs. There's no male heirs. So there's not many in the line of male blooms by the looks of it. Maybe there's some blooms, more distant blooms. No, they're Boltons. There's a blue Enger bloom on the wall. What about you? Did you have... No, you've daughters only. So there is only 3 male blooms left alive. So that's worrying. 14, only 3 of them left alive. So yeah, so some of these houses are playing it very close to extinction. So we've got Jossos of Whitford, over 5,000 men that they can call up pretty decently. Lord Lionel of Whitford, I think he's only been a lord for not very long. Lord Argrave, I think, died not too long ago. Nothing overly impressive about him. Decent-ish steward, I suppose. Some nice traits, nothing too worrying there. Let's have a look at the Josso line. There's 18 living members, apparently. So, does he has a daughter, Mordain? Do any of these other males have any? I'm guessing not, else they would be... Got Cormund Josso, still alive. Wow, from the War of the Stars. He must be pretty old now, 62. Wow. So does that mean we've only got... Is Lionel the only... I think Lionel's the only male Josso left as well. My God. Some of these lines are insanely close to dying out, it would seem. It's very worrying how little amount of these houses are left around. Did you have any male son? No. So there's literally... Lionel is the last male Josso living. So that's Josso and Bloom very close to extinction. Roseheart. Now, I know that the Rosehearts were very close to extinction. Lord Will of the White Star, age 62, who's now blind from old age. His son's dead and doesn't have he has a dead son. I remember that. So his heir is Lord John of Crane Rock, a Roseheart branch landed in the Vale somewhere. Just landed Knights. Who's not overly impressive. And then he does have 2 sons. Donald, he died. And Walder Roseheart, who... Oh, wow. He's good. That's good. Strong and a giant and trained fighter, so he's a proper Roseheart. They're the Roseheart genes that we've missed. So there's 12 living members of House Roseheart. Okay, so we do have a couple of males. Lister Roseheart, Sir Ignam Roseheart, all daughters though. So we've got John, Igan, Lister, Walder. Maybe some of these distant branches of Rosehearts have got some sons. Ronald Roseheart, Pia Rose, very distant though, but female. So the male line of Roseheart is pretty exhausted as well, but there's more than the other 2 houses at least. Lister, Igan, John, and what? So there's four male Rosehearts left. That's a comfy enough position. I'm not overly worried about that. Right, now we'll do what we always do, and we'll go fly up to the Greystarks in Greyhold, and let's have a look what we've got here. So we've got Lord Fearmore of the Grey Cliffs, who is quick, haughty, and playful. Doesn't have the green sight trait just yet. His father, Maynard, is still alive as well. He has 2 sisters, Jane Greystark and Robin Greystark. So there are 3 Greystarks there. That's probably the best of Greystarks have ever been. They've always been close to extinction. Look, ever since the beginning, there's not a huge amount of Greystarks around at all. Who's this Theodore? Theodore Greystark. So we do have a cousin, Theodore Greystark. So there's 2 male Greystarks alive, which isn't too bad. Theodore and Fearmore, and then 2 females, 7 living members. They really don't breed well, the Greystarks. Not a lot of them around. Next, we'll go over to House Crescent. Lord Athelmore, who's actually very decent, very impressive. His son, Malwyn, isn't overly impressive. His other son, Walder, he's half decent. He's not too bad. Let's have a look at House Crescent. They've got 16 living members. So House Crescent is... yeah, they've got the 2 branches of House Crescent, haven't we, as well? The bastard branch that was legitimised. So it will pass to them if not. So there are a lot of male Crescents around at least. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So yeah, we've got plenty of male Crescents around. The Crescents are in a very healthy position. House Oxter in Frosty Shore. Not a lot of manpower. He's got several children, so he's doing all right. Who's his heir? Sir Athenna Oxter, who's also got lots of children. So House Oxter seems to be in a very healthy position. 19 living members. Lots and lots of sons. There's 1 on the wall as well. So yeah, House Oxter is doing extremely well. Next we go over to the Boltons, who I'm pretty sure are in a good state as well. Lady Jessamine of the Dreadfort, who's pretty decent. Very good diplomacy. A lot of manpower. I'm pretty sure her son, Theon, is, yes, a genius and attractive, as that seems to run through the Bolton blood in this playthrough. So the Boltons seem pretty secure. Let's have a look at their family tree. let's have a look what we've got. Theirs goes back a lot further. We've got Theon, the Hammer of Eastwatch, of course, and Belvazar, who is still alive at the age of 64 in the Night's Watch, which is cool to see. Harwood was a daughter. That line is still alive. Torren Bolton, Wyman Bolton, Marek Bolton, Lord Marek. So he's married to the lady, his cousin, or his kind of cousin. So it looks like we have, another Bolton, Theon, Theodore. We've got a ton of Boltons, it would seem. So the House Bolton is pretty... Well, there's only a living member of 10 living members, apparently, but a ton of males. So House Bolton is pretty secure. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Theon Bolton when he comes of age. We've got a lot of children lords who look like they will be pretty decent in the future. We have Lady Estella of High Point. Have House Brightmire, who has 2 sisters. She's betrothed to Colmore Brightmire. Okay, even though he's, wow, 10 years younger, that's a bit silly. Typical AI. But at least that means there is a male Brightmire. Is there any more? Crescents, Richards, Colmore Brightmire, and Shara Brightmire. We've got some Brightmires here. So Cleos Brightmire, Redwyn Brightmire, Robin Brightmire, Edmure Brightmire. Yeah, so we've got loads left in this house still alive. House Brightmire is pretty secure, which is good. They've got quite a bit of manpower as well. Nearly 4,000. That's not bad for a northern area. We have Lord Salzard, Theobald Salzard. I think the Salzard line's pretty secure. Cancer, which is going around massively at the moment in Andalia. He does have 2 sons, Sir Quent Salzard and Harrion Salzard. Let's have a look at the Salzard family tree. Only 5 living members, apparently. So we do have Theobald, who's the Lord, of course, and then Quent and Harrion. So there's 3 males, but Theobald's due to die very, very soon. So he's got his 2 sons, and hopefully they can keep the Salzard line going strongly. Alandar, the original Salzard, that guy was one crazy possessed lunatic. That guy was crazy. I lived to 67. Wow, he was impressive. I'm seeing a lot of him in our A Song of Seven series that is going on right now. Right, next in to the Hornwood and House Rack, where we have Lord Muribold II, who is in hiding for some reason. 6,440 men, so a decent amount of manpower. A decent steward, very decent steward actually, skilled steward. He's got a daughter, Jane Rack. His son Walton is dead. He does have siblings though, Sir Medgar Rack and Sir Samwile Rack, so the male line should be pretty secure. Let's have a look. 23 living members, yeah, so we do have a lot of Rack still about, and Sir Joe the Hunter is still alive at the Night's Watch. So Muribold's daughter still alive. Has Medgar had any sons? Yes. Harith Rack. Samwile yet to have any children, only 16 though. We've got Vaon, the merciless Rack, who's had 2 daughters. Is there any other? Oh yeah, Benjacock Rack, of course. Black Rack, who's had Sir Benfree Rack, and he's had a daughter as well. And then we do have, of course, the Racks of the Vale, who are here, but we'll look at them when we get further to them. So House Rack's doing pretty well. Decent amount of manpower. Over into the Bullseye, and we'll look at House Hooton. 2,300 men, so not a lot of manpower. Lord Galbert, nothing overly impressive. Decent diplomacy and martial, I guess. He's got a son as well, which is good. Leopold Hooton, 1 year old. Hooton has 12 living members, so let's have a look at those. Galbert's line, of course, he's got his brother Domerek Hooton, who's got a son as well. Got Jonas Hooton over here. Does he have a son? No. Walton Hooton, who's only got a daughter, and they're all women. So, yep, there's a few male Hootons around, so the Hooton line is pretty secure. In the Black Sheep Hills, we have House Blackglass, Lord Warren of the Black Sheep Hills, who is a lunatic and got gonorrhea. Decent traits all around, but he's yet to have any children. His wife is not at court. She's currently travelling, which is interesting. Quite old, so it's not looking good for the Blackglass line. And that's all there is to see with them, I'm afraid. Warriors Watch, we have Lord Will Morgoth. His father died just a couple of episodes, wasn't it? I think in a tourney accident. Yes, it was. So he hasn't got any children yet, of course. He is betrothed to, that random Valeman house, which was really weird. He does have a brother, Maynard Morgoth. So that means there's only 2. Does that mean there's only 2 male Morgoths? There's 6 living members. Will and Maynard are the... Oh no, we've got an Oscar here and a Robin Morgoth. So we've got 3 male Morgoths. So, yeah, 3 Morgoths. That's pretty secure for House Morgoth. And look at that manpower. More manpower than the Racks themselves. We do know that most of the manpower in the Warriors Way does come from the Warriors Watch and House Morgoth. So, yeah, not a lot of manpower there, though. Sorry, not a lot of male heirs there, but 3 males for House Morgoth. That's pretty good going, because they've always been a fairly small house with family members. In Maiden's Gate, we obviously have the blue stars of House Sevenstar, which is pretty big, I believe. I think they've got a lot of manpower. They've got a lot of manpower, 6,000, decent amount of gold. Bit of an idiot lord who has got the slow trait, so fair enough. He's got son Sir Orson, who is a bastard. Sir Orson Snow. Interesting sigil, blue trident on black. Sir Damon Sevenstar, who's his heir, who is content, which is always nice. He's just, charitable, stubborn. Okay, so a decent, seems like a decent guy. He's got another male, Derriman Sevenstar. Let's have a look at the blue star line. There are 2 branches of it, but we'll have a look at this. So Harston has his 2 sons. He's got a brother, Quincy, as well, who's got a son, Malwyn Sevenstar, so it's pretty secure there. And then there's the distant branches of the house, which is died out. We've got Lister, the Loyals, Brand 84. God, I miss him. He had his 2 sons, but I think we've still got, yeah, Lister of Effrington, Cormond, who has a son, Peter Sevenstar. We've got Enger here, who's got 2 daughters, and there is Mina, the Queen. She comes from this line. Has Lister got any sons? Yes, he's got Hobart and Gorgon, who's only 15. Wow, he looks a lot older than 15. That beard is impressive. Hobart has a son, Lister, as well, though. So, that line, Lister seems to run through that line extremely a lot. But the Blue Star line is very secure with its 2 separate branches. So, we don't really have to worry about anything happening with that house. They seem incredibly secure. Let's work our way over here. Then we'll start with the Rills. We have Lord Bowen of the Rills, who does have dysentery at the minute, but he does have a son, Willis Risewell. And we do have the Risewells up here as well in Blackpool, who own the Stony Shore, a different branch of the Risewells, but it does mean that the Risewells are pretty secure. Let's have a look at their members. They've got 12 living members, lots of males, which is good. Benjicar as well, he's got 2 dead sons. But we've got several male heirs there for House Risewell, so they're pretty secure. Their vassal is Lord Kristen Creed, who's still around. He does have his son, thankfully. He's the one with sympathy for the Eastern Gods. I remember this guy being added. He's really cool. Loved his sigil as well. I can't remember who added him, so let me know in the comments down below if you are the founder of this house, because I can't remember who made him, but I do know that I liked him from when he got added. And because he had like a foreign wife, I believe, his son looks really cool. He's got some like really interesting like ethnicities mixed, which makes him look cool. His traits aren't impressive, but he looks cool. And he does have a daughter, Bess Creed. So her mother was an Ironborn, apparently, an old Ironborn. So I don't know where this interesting look comes from. It must have come from Kristen Creed. His old wife must have, yeah, his old wife was from Mere. That makes sense. Okay, so that house is secure. And then over here in Real Water Crossing, we have House Blaintree, Lady Beer. She's got 2 children. She does have a brother, though, Theodore. Oh, Blackmire. Okay, interesting. She's a giant as well. Wow, 20 stewardship. Surely she's the steward of the Farthest Field. She's the High Almoner of the Farthest Fields. House Blaintree. Let's have a look how House Blaintree's doing. 6 living members. She's got her 2 daughters. She's got her brother somewhere, hasn't she? Oh, no, but he's a Blackmire, technically. So maybe House Blaintree isn't in the... No, they're not really in the best of conditions, it would seem. Any of these had? No, not by the looks of it. So House Blaintree is close to extinction. They've only got 1 male left. Several females, though. And she has got a matrimonial marriage, so hopefully that will get some more Blaintrees on the go. And now we move over to House Firehand, who have been quiet recently. Still got a lot of manpower. Very decent lord. Decent intrigue. Decent martial. Decent learning. I'd expect no less of a Firehand. 14, so soon he'll be coming of age. And hopefully we'll be seeing more of the Firehands again. We've not seen a lot from them, as this guy ruled from such a young age. His father, Harrion, who was a very decent and nice guy. The nicest of the Firehands by far. But we haven't seen much of the Firehands since he died, with Lord Winton inheriting so young. But hopefully we'll see more of the Firehands soon. He does have siblings. He's got a sister, Eleanor. A brother, Benjen. How's he look? Nothing overly impressive. He's betrothed to a Josso. Yolanda Firehand. Who is Winton betrothed to? Andara Roseheart. Interesting. So he's ambitious, shrewd, strong, authoritative, proud, and deceitful. So he looks pretty cool. Let's have a look at the House Firehand line. 12 living members. So he does have his brother Benjen. He's got his uncle Celador. We've got Byam Firehand's line, which is a 7-star line now, apparently. Any of these have Firehand children? No, they didn't. So that is interesting. So we've only got 1, 2, 3 Firehand males left, but they're both young. They're both young enough to pump some children out. Salador's a Septon, so it doesn't look like he'll be having any children. It's interesting to see a Firehand Septon. How terrifying is that? Of course, he's zealous, but that is interesting. So yeah, unfortunately, that means he won't be having any children. That was the brother of Harry, and yeah, I remember him becoming a Septon now, actually. So the Firehands are fairly secure. 2 young males are like a lot of houses, but hopefully secure enough that they'll get plenty of children. Over into Silverspear next, we have House Silvereye with their Lord Edmund, who's decent in diplomacy and martial. He's got 2 sons, Sir Walder Silvereye and Bennett Silvereye. Let's have a look at the family tree. 16 living members, apparently, so looks like there's a lot of Silvereyes. Walder's already had a chance. We've got 1, 2, 3. Did Fearmore have any? No. What about Terran still alive? So that's 5, 6, 7. 7 male, 7 Silvereyes there. Any of these got Silvereye sons? No. So there's 7 Silvereye males, so the Silvereyes are pretty secure and in a good position. Let's have a look at the heir, Sir Walder, who is betrothed to a Reed. Does that mean that his child's a bastard if they're only betrothed? Who did he have this girl with? Oh, he's been married before to a Rook and she died young. Okay. Wonder if she died in childbirth or something like that then, maybe. But he's betrothed again to a Reed very soon, so hopefully they'll have some more male heirs then. House Silvereye been around a lot longer than you think. And then House Richards next. Lord Wilbert the Able of the Father's Ford. Another fat homosexual. I'm pretty sure that the Lord of Silvereye was as well. Interesting. Homosexuality is spreading in Andalia. Not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it's really spreading at the moment. There's a lot of homosexuals apparently in Andalia these days. So Lord Wilbert the Able, he's an astronomer apparently. Decent diplomacy and learning. Has a son, Sir Bernard of Feverreef, so he's a landed knight, but he is ill. But he's got 3 sons, Wilbert Richards, Willis Richards, and Harwin Richards. Anything special about these 3? Not at the moment. Wow, one of them did have 4 martial though, which is pretty decent to have already. Let's have a look at the Richards line. 13 living members, so Wilbert, Bernard and his 3 sons. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 males there. We've got Pate Richards here as well, so that's 6 males. He's got a daughter. Max Richards over here. Wow, that was Robert of the Sisters, who is obviously now very dead. And yeah, so there's plenty of male Richards around. And that finishes the farthest fields. Next we go into Sevenstar, where we have Sir Hugh of House Folman. It's only a fairly new house. Another homosexual. See, I told you there's homosexuals everywhere apparently nowadays in Andalia. A white fox on black. Only a landed knight house, which see over Sevenstar. He's got 2 sons. These are quite a new house, so their family tree won't be massively in depth. And a blind of old age. Next, we go down into Silverreed with House Fen. These ones don't really do a lot, these houses, so we'll skip over these pretty quick. Let's have a look. They've got, actually got Silverreed, House Fen males. Yes, Walder, Fearmore, Walton. So, House Fen's pretty secure. We'll go over into Cherwell with House Marsh, where, wow, her heir is a Reed. Does that mean that House Marsh is extinct? Do we have no male marshes? It seems that we don't. So they're soon to die out, House Marsh, by the looks of it, which is a shame. Did any of these have children? No. Winton, did he? No, they're Reeds. Theodore, did you have any? No. So yeah, there is literally no male marshes, so House Marsh could soon die out, and the lands will pass to House Reed. We'll have a second branch of House Reed, and we'll go to House Reed next. Lady Sybil the Young. Is she still alive? She should be Lady Sybil the Old now, though, surely. But wow, she was around from the times of the War of the Stars. Crazy that she's still alive. Her son, Harmond Reed. She's got siblings, Lord Donnell of Harlow. So the Reed line is, wow, 20 living members. So yeah, House Reed is very, very secure. Harmond, he's got sons as well. So yeah, House Reed's secure. And then we know of the cousins, which are obviously going to inherit it at some point. Inherit the marshlands. And in the Flint's Finger, of course, we have Benfree, the Bear of the Lance. Wow, he's one-handed now. When did he lose his hand? Abdominal pain, he's vomiting, depressed, stressed, cough. Okay, maybe he won't be around for much longer, Benfree the Bear. I didn't realise that he'd lost a hand. My God, 40 martial, 19 learning, 22 diplomacy. Absolutely ridiculous. Who is his heir? His heir is Samuel. It must be his Sir Otho's son. Let's have a look at his heir then, Samuel Lancer, who's a giant poor fighter. 10 martial, not too bad. Family person, rowdy, playful, squire. Okay. Let's go back to Benfree. He's got his other sons. Sir Robar Buckler. This is a bastard branch, isn't it? House Buckler. I quite like that. Black spear on blue. It's very similar to that sigil, actually. He's got 2 sons, Creighton and Benfree. So we've got a new house, the House of Buckler there, which is interesting. A bastard branch of House Lancer. He's got Lady Darianne of the Dragon's Fields. Okay, interesting. Elise Lancer, who's married to Sir Stephen Longthorpe. They've got a child, Donella Longthorpe. Kyra Lancer and Ariane Lancer. House Lancer looks like it's pretty secure then. 21 living members. Yeah, so they've got a huge amount. Lord Roger Snow. House Sweetblood. Yeah, so it looks like we've got plenty of Lancers around. Yeah, Samuel and Maldor Lancer, Gwaine Snow. So a lot of bastard Lancers around, it would seem. I think Benfree's father, though, Jorin, did have a lot of bastards, didn't he? And Benfree seems to have followed in that footstep, as he also has quite a few bastards. But House Lancer is secure. In the Flint's Cliffs, we have House Orson still going strong with their bright yellow hair. He's a unique dragon rider, which we need to remove that dragon at some point. And his son, Sir Gawain of Rosvale, who's a landed knight. Interesting. Who's quick, a squire, diligent, stubborn, gluttonous, and brave. And what a beard for a 15-year-old. And that's it for House Orson, as they're a fairly new house. So yeah, 4 living members. Over on Cape Kraken, we have a branch of the Greyjoys, who's got a load of male sons, so we won't really look into those. Right, we've missed out the sisters, so we'll go over to them. Lady Amira Redstone of the Sisters, who rules that. And we have Lord Sunderland, Byron Sunderland, who's about the last male Sunderland after his father was sent to the wall, I believe, for the recent rebellion. Lord Coleman Borrell of Sweet Sister, and the Borrells look pretty secure. And then Long Sister, we have House Longthorpe with Lord Allen, who is a formidable fighter, really impressive guy. It's a shame that we couldn't do more with him being a vassal under a vassal. It's annoying how you can't really do a lot with vassals under vassals. I hope that they sort of make that a little bit more freedom with that, with what you can do when the CK3 mod comes out. Next, let's go down into the Riverlands next then. In the Crossfort, we have Lord Lionel the Mild, the Hand of the King, the Regent, who's very impressive. He's got his son Adam Redguard now, who's got the quick trait, which is interesting. Let's go back to Lord Lionel. Yeah, we know a lot about Lionel, so we don't need to go over him too much. 4,300 men. How many living members of House Redguard do we have? So we've got him and his son. He's a bastard, but we do have Barry and Redguard, and we have Jojen Redguard as well, whose son is dead. So there's plenty of male Redguards around, it would seem. So that's good to know. At least that line's pretty secure. In Mistlewood, we have House Rook. We have Yorick Rook, another homosexual, who has a son, Bradamere Rook, and Alwyn Rook. He also has brothers, Ryman Rook and Maynard Wells. Interesting. So House Rook seems pretty secure. They've got 10 living members. Let's have a look. So we've got Bradamere. He's got a daughter already. Alvin. We've got Ryman, who's got a son called Will and a son called Andrew. So there's... And then there's Maynard, of course, as well, who it is seen. So there's plenty of rooks around, it would seem. Let's have a look at the heir to that land. How good is Bradamere? He's pretty all-rounded, still fairly young. And then his brother, Alvin, who's pretty decent, and he's betrothed to a 7-star. Next, we go to the Northlands with Lord Colin, the Quarreller of House Crownless, who's not overly impressive. Greedy, proud, slothful, wrath, and zealot. So he's got 4 of the sins, but it's a zealot apparently. And his heir is Sir Darnell Crownless, who's a genius. So that's pretty good, and he's a lunatic, but at least he's a genius, and he has got a son called Wallace. So it looks like House Crownless is pretty secure. 17 members. We've got Perrin, Horton, Harold, Robar. Oh, pardon me. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 males left. Carl here as well. Marwyn, 8, 9. So we've got like 9 males of House Crownless. So House Crownless is very, very secure. Next we go to Ehrenford and House Ehrenstall. Master Tion, who's a very impressive diplomat. Decent manpower as well for a lower vassal. Does have a son, Danes Ehrenstall. 16, the heir. Nothing overly impressive around him. Let's have a look at the Ehrenstall family tree. There's 12 members apparently. Byrar did have a son, Miles Erenstar, and Lucan Erenstar, Osmond Erenstar. So there's several male Erenstars. Gilbert had a daughter. Tion's got his 2 sons, of course. So there's several Erenstar males around. So that line is also safe. Whether that's a good thing or not, I don't know. But in Old Stones, we have House Mud, of course, with a very decent amount of manpower. Lady Amara of Seaguard. She has a son, Guy Mud. And did it say she was pregnant as well? Yes, it did. She's got a sibling, a Clifton, who's not actually a Mud. Let's have a look at House Mud. How secure are they? They've got 18 living members, apparently. She's got her son. It looks like most of them are not going to be males, though, by the looks of it. Looks like it's more of a female line that's secure. Oh, no, okay, so we've got Roderick Benfree. You know, he's got a daughter. So, yeah, are these Muds? Oh, we've got 2 Muds here. Very distant cousins. Zachary Mud and Sir Will Mud. Okay, so there are some very distant Muds that are still kicking and alive. So, House Mud is fairly secure. Let's go into Rushmore, where we have House Redwolf, Lord Ellard Redwolf, his son Harmon Redwolf, and his daughter. I think the Redwolf line, that's about it, really, isn't it? It's not been a huge line, so yeah, there's not a lot really there to write home about. Seaguard, we have House Malistar, Lord Barion of Seaguard. We just have siblings Pyron Malistar, Harstin Malistar. Let's have a look at House Malistar. How many males have we got here? Okay, we've got quite a lot, it would seem. Harston, Barion, Martin, Christopher, Pyron. So yeah, lots of Malister males around. And then we've also got the other branch of House Malister, wherever they are. I'm not sure where they are. Who do they come from? Obviously with Lucius Malister and such, but not sure where they'd be on here. They must come from one of these earlier lines somewhere. But I know that there is other Malister males around somewhere. Ah, here he is, Lucius Malister, and then his daughters. So yeah, I knew there was other Malisters around. So the Malister line is extremely safe. Cape of Eagles, we have House Reef. So Robin of Cape of Eagles, who's a young 14-year-old. That's it for House Reef. He does have a sister, Gwyneth Reef. So that's pretty much it. Marlet Bay, we have House Darkblade. I forgot House Darkblade was landed here. And another homosexual lord. But he does have 3 sons, so at least it hasn't stopped him from securing his line. We have Sir Ryman Darkblade, who's pretty decent. Sir Daffin Darkblade, formidable fighter, 35-year-old, very decent. And Sir Mance Darkblade, who's not a very good fighter, but he is a duelist. Let's have a look at the Darkblade line. Do we have more males? We've got Elwood. So, yeah, they're pretty safe, the Darkblade line. In a pretty decent position. In Gravesham, who do we have here? House Fen. A random Fen Lord landed. We could do with replacing that with somebody else. In Canet, we have House Dondarrion, which is really random. Eric Dondarrion and Emmon Dondarrion. He's also a homosexual. But that line we know is going to be secure because there's also the Dondarrions of the Stormlands. In Turnbridge, we have a random house which we need to do something with. In Maidstone, we have House Stoke. Is their line secure? Yeah, 14 living members. It's only a fairly minor house. I don't think they've ever done anything in the series. We've got Ned Stoke, Arlen Stoke, Osgood Stoke. Yeah, they've never really done anything in the series. I do like their sigil, though. It's pretty cool. In Blackrush, we have House Byrne, Lady Perra of Blackrush. She has a sister. Blackwood Vale, of course, we have Lady Perra Blackwood, still going strong. House of the Seven Religion Blackwoods, which is always crazy to see. Her son, Sir Jorah Blackwood, who's the heir. He's very decent, actually. We've already made him important. Was he the one who appeared in the tourney recently and was very impressive? And he's got a brother, Sir Horace, and Hendry. So the Blackwood line is pretty... Whoa, okay, something really weird has happened with the Blackwood family tree, it would seem. I've got no idea what's happened there, so we'll just come off of that. I think something has lagged out massively. Fairmarket, we have House Amess. I don't know who these are. It's about to die very soon anyway. In his heir is Lady Blackwood, so it doesn't matter. The Red Fork, we have House Viperin, who recently lost their High Lordship. I'm pretty sure the Viperins are pretty safe. 13 living members. They have a house in the Vale. Ones like that we won't go into too much detail unless it's a custom house like House Dirt, where we have Lord Simmons Dirt, who doesn't have any children yet. And his heir is Sir Clarence Dirt, so there are more Dirts around at least. And he's got a daughter, so House Dirt's at least fairly secure through a female line. hopefully they've got time to... How old is his wife? 29. So he's got time to... Oh, no, sorry. Where is the actual Lord? How old is the Lord's wife? 25. So he's got time to have more children, so that's fine. So hopefully House Dirt will be safe. And then in Stilfen, House Blackburn, random house, which has come in and replaced somebody, so that is also needs replacing. A lot of these houses you don't notice things have changed until you come back and do these overview streams, these minor things that move around. Go to Willowwood, where we have Lord Enger the Planter of Willowwood of House Seymour, who we know already is very decent, the Master of Laws. He's got his children Sir Pyron and Sir Harris. Sir Pyron has a son, Sir Enger Seymour. I believe his mom is a 7-star, yes, and his sister Cyrene. Sir Harris has a son, Oliver Seymour. Nothing overly impressive about him. That's the main line. Then he's got his siblings, of course. Sir Carl Seymour, who's only got daughters. Sir Norbert Seymour, who has his son Sir John, the 2 Kingsguard members, that is. Formidable fighter and a skilled fighter, both very impressive. Then we've got Sir Arlen Seymour, who has his son Sir Colmar Seymour, who's pretty decent. Is that all of the sons of John? I believe it is. We'll look at the family tree quickly to see how the Seymours are doing. They've only got 21 living members. I thought they had a lot more than that because there's just so many of them around at the moment. There just wasn't many around before, and now there's just hundreds of them. Lots married into other houses. Belmore, Draxler, Viperin, Seymours. These are Seymours as well, aren't they? We've got another line here that are married into a random house. You're married into the Rosbys. Yeah, so they're mixed with a lot of houses. There's a lot of the younger ones who are now betrothed to great houses as well. So Seymour seems to be getting more power lately. 1,000 men. I think that's the most manpower I've ever seen Willowwood have. In Wickham, we have House Hardsteel with Lady Gisela of Wickham. She's got Elise Hardsteel and Hugh Hardsteel. I don't think there's anything special about either of those. No, I do love the sigil. I love me some yellow and black sigils. Any of their lines carry on? Yeah, we've got some Hardsteel here. Of the Moon Brothers. Okay, interesting. So, yeah, their line's pretty secure. 20 living members of House Hardsteel. Children. Lord Lucius Mallister is now the Lord of this land. Lord Lucius the Laughing Falcon. The King Enger and King Lister's good friend, who apparently hates us. Okay. But we've just looked at the Mallisters already. In High Oak, we have Lord Danes of High Oak, who is a legitimized bastard, as we know. He now has a son and 2 daughters. Serena High Oak, Corellin High Oak, and Otho High Oak. So look at the family tree. 4 living members. That's it for House High Oak. You've got the original one who was the founder of the house, wasn't he? Of course, Lord Roland the Oak of High Oak. So it is a fairly new house still in the grand scheme of things. So they're pretty secure. In Wickedham, we have House Redstone, who are back to being the High Lords. They wasn't away for very long. Are you the grandson of Harbert Snow? Yes, you are. Nothing overly impressive about you. I know you were friends with Enger, I believe. He's got 2 daughters. He's got a sibling who's a Rack and one who's a Redstone. So House Redstone isn't massively secure. We could do with some males in this line coming somewhere. We could really do with him having a male son. He is the last male Redstone, but he's still young, only 23. He has a hunting dog as well, which is interesting. In Crabshaw, we have the Brown branch of House Crescent. Unfortunately, we can't change the sigil, but we've already looked at the Crescents. We know that they're secure when we looked at them in the north. In Saltpans, we have House Mooton, who is a tyrant, and he has a son, Ronald Mooton. Is that it for the Mootons? I do believe, though, that there is still the Mootons of Maiden's Pool. No, they've been replaced. So that is the last of the Mootons. And then in Dartmoor is this House Sweetblood, I believe. Yes, of Piers line. And we have Lord Rogar Snow of Dartmoor. Pretty decent. His son Leslin Sweetblood, who's a dwarf, and Willem Sweetblood, who has a list. So the Sweetblood line is fairly small, only 4 living members. That's the amount of total members that they've had, but as we know, it is a fairly new house. Now we're working our way deeper into the Vale. The Bloody Gate, we just have a random guy, so we don't really need to look at that. Redfort, young lady Redfort. Her parent was sent to the wall, of course. She is a giant. And this is another one that's gone weird, so we won't better look at that. In Ruffermont, we still do have House Aaron, which is around, but he does have 4 daughters, all Aaron, so that's not good. I'm pretty sure he's the last. Yep, he's the last male Aaron, so he really needs to get himself a son, desperately. The Eyrie is owned by us, of course. Strongsong, we have House Belmore, Lord Robert of Strongsong. Nothing too special about him. He has his son Osgood Belmore. His brother Eldrick the Just is now a member of the Night's Watch, of course. And then we have Sir Ossifer of Clifthaven, which I'm guessing is a small landing bit of land in Strongsong. In Crown Crag, we have House Baroon. How is House Baroon doing now? Only got 2 living members. They're the only 2 living members, her and her daughter, Elise Baroon. In Moonsgrey, we have the Greenstar branch of House Sevenstar, who has got 2 sons, Alvin Stone and Byra Greenstar. How is this line looking? 15 living members, apparently. Raymond. Okay, so we've got a lot of Green Stars around, it would seem. So the Green Star line's actually very secure, probably the first time ever. The Green Star line's always been flirting with extinction. We do have a bastard here, though, Alvin Stone, but we have Byra Greenstar here, so nothing overly impressive to write home about there. In Heartsholme, we have Lord Samwell of the Fingers, who is the grandson of Dainese Corbury, of course. 13 Marshall. Nothing overly impressive about him. He has a lot of manpower and a lot of wealth. It's his brother, I believe, who is the heir, who is a genius, so he's a little bit more worrying. I think the Corbury line is pretty secure. 5 living members, apparently. Is that it? We do have the Lady of Eastwold as well, whose heir is a Royce. So the Royces are set to inherit some land. But House Corbury's fairly secure. Snakewood, we have House Lingrave, random house. Does have a son and an heir. I'll skip over those fairly quickly. House Coldwater. We have Lady Coldwater and her 3 daughters. So it seems a very lady lordship. Did we do New Keep? No, this is the other branch of House Rack, the purple racks. Bath Rack, Sylvia Rack. So these are pretty secure, and they've obviously got the link with the other racks. In Crow's Baron, we have Lord Owen of the Mother's Embrace of House Steelheart, who's also a homosexual and fat. A lot of them around. Yeah, but I like this guy. He's our High Admiral, I believe. Really impressive. He's the heir to Silverreed as well, which is very interesting. That is interesting. He has a son, Sir Eddard Steelheart, who is club-footed. He's a twin. Got 2 daughters. Love the sigil for this. Yellow and black yet again. Although it is meant to be golden, isn't it? It's as gold as you can get in game. And there's 22 living members apparently. So Eddard hasn't got a son. But there are Harrion Steelheart and Norrin Steelheart. Osric Steelheart. Arnulf Steelheart. Arthur Steelheart. Harlan Steelheart. Oswin Steelheart. Roose Steelheart. So there is a hell of a lot of Steelhearts around. Any of these impressive? Let's have a look at your brothers. Are they impressive? Very good steward. His son is a decent diplomat. His grandson, nothing overly impressive. Lord Arnulf, Sir Arnulf Steelheart, sorry. Not anything too decent. He's a Crannog man, apparently, which is interesting. And he's got a twin children, but nothing overly interesting about those. Up on the Pebble, we have Lord Bath of the Pebble. Now the Lord, and he is also a homosexual. And this is the guy, I believe, who got the Valyrian steel dagger, wasn't it, from the tourney? Yeah, this is the guy who won the tourney. A very impressive knight. And he does have a son, Yoren Rosbury. I'm pretty sure wow, living members 29, so House Rosbury is very secure. We obviously have the Rosbys in the south still. Smith's Forge, we have House Anvil. I can't remember who made House Anvil either. They've been around for quite some time now, so remind me. Any house that I can't remember who made them, please remind me. He's got a son, Sir Clay Anvil, who's a decent commander. He's got some decent traits. Rough terrain expert, brilliant commander, siege leader. Has got daughters. He's got a brother though, Sir Bartimus Anvil, who's okay martial wise. He's got a son, Cregan Anvil. So House Anvil looks pretty secure. 18 living members, which is good because I remember they were very close to extinction at one point. In Midlaw Point, we have House Perrin, who does have several children. It's a Westerman house. I don't remember how they got over here, but they did. I think Aengar II landed these, but they've got 7 living members, not many males though, and they're also married into the Seymours, it would seem. Sunrise Keep, we have House Brightstone. The Lord is imprisoned. He's a decent fighter, unyielding leader. His son, Sir Ben Brightstone, also a decent commander, a very decent commander for the 24. He does have a son as well, Jason Brightstone, who's ugly. So that line is pretty secure. He's also got a Septon uncle. And then up into the Dragon's Den, where we have Lord Damien the Rasher. He actually managed to survive. Wow. Because he got massively crippled in that fight with... was it John Hornbreaker? I'm pretty sure it was John Hornbreaker. Then he got hurt in a tourney, one-eyed drunkard with one hand, and it looked very much like he was going to die, but he's actually still very much alive. He's got his brother, Melio Shycross, who is married to Hilirio's daughter, who have 2 sons, Donico Shycross and Nora Shycross, who are twins, one of them quick. So very impressive. Let's go back to Damien, who did have his own son, Zargana Shycross, interesting name. So there's 16 living members in the Shycross family. Belados Shycross still alive with his children. So Caesar, interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of them still alive. They're still doing well. Breakstone Hall, we have Lady Corbury, who is married to a Royce, so the Royces will soon inherit this land. In Longbow Hall, we have House Hunter. Oh, who are they secure? Yeah, it's got sons, living members, 13, so pretty secure. Old Anchor, we have House Clifton, another homosexual. He's got 1, 2, 3 sons. One is a Septon. His heir, Sir Gilwood, is okay. He's pretty decent, and he has a son, Sir Bendon Clifton. I'm pretty sure he was married to someone. Pelamorgoth. Interesting. So, yep, so the Clifton line is pretty secure. In Hardvale, we have House Draxler with Lord Donnell. His heir, Ermund Draxler. How is that line? 11 living members, so pretty secure. Iron Oaks, of course, we have House Waynwood. Lord Carl, the Shadow of Iron Oaks. Cool nickname. Disfigured. He's a schemer. Scarred. Interesting. He's got, wow, 3 sons. He's got siblings, so House Waynwood, 26 living members. I'm going to say, yeah, these are pretty secure by the looks of it. There's a lot of Waynwood males around, so we know that that's secure. Let's go down to Runestone now, where we have Lord Roland, the third of Runestone, whose father, Sir Hugh the Warrior, is now a member of the Night's Watch, a Black brother. He's got a different background behind him, though, which is interesting. What is that about? Is it caught in Castle Black, apparently? He has a brother as well, Arnold Royce, so his House Royce pretty secure. I'm guessing 9 living members. That's pretty secure. Witch Isle, we have House Upcliffe, Lord Corman of Witch Isle, who has plenty of heirs, it would seem. He's got a son, Sir Miles Upcliffe, foreign Upcliffe, so House Upcliffe is pretty secure. Down into Ghoultown, we have House Grafton, whose father, Sir Willis Grafton, was also sent to the Night's Watch, I believe. Commander of the Shadow Tower. Wow, he's become a commander already at the Shadow Tower. Commando Lua, the Shield of Eastwatch. Okay, so why is his lead... If he's at the Shadow Tower, why is his liege... Oh, he's the Shield of Eastwatch, but a commander of the Shadow Tower. Okay, we will have a look into the Night's Watch. And we have Lord Roderick Grafton. House Grafton is fairly secure. Yeah, we've got a few males here and there, so... And then in Grey Glen, who do we have at his house? Tollett, still going strong. Just have a daughter, and then again, maybe not that strong. Maybe I spoke too soon. Do we have any other males alive? It doesn't look like it, no. So they're not that secure. We've got 1 male Tollett. I believe that is all of the Vale. The Iron Islands, I'm not really going to go into detail because we don't really have any custom houses over here, and they don't do a lot. So we've got Lord Paramount Alton of the Iron Islands, the 6-year-old Greyjoy. We know the Greyjoy line is, wow, 29 living members, so very, very secure. Over in Lordport, House Saltworm, who was a custom house, I believe. He's got his son, Donald Saltworm. On Saltcliffe, we have House Saltcliffe. In Hammerhorn, we have House Goodbrother. Pebbleton, we have House Ironmark. Sealskin Point, we have House Saltsail, which I believe was Raz's house. He's still not had a child. He is unmarried, though. His wife's died, so maybe he'll get a new wife. Did she die very recently? Yes, she died extremely recently, so hopefully he can get a new wife and try and get some new children. And he scares me with his eye, with no eye patch. It just looks terrifying. In Old Wick, we have House Ironside still going. We have Blacktide. We have House Setbone. House Volmark. Love their sigil. Harlaw Hill, we have House Pisswater still going strong, which is awesome. And in Stone Tree, we have, oh my god, we have a Jogus Knight, House Harlaw. Lonely Light, we have House Farwind, I'm guessing, still. No, House Greyjoy. One-handed Greyjoy of the Lonely Light. House Farwind has died out. So that's the Iron Islands. We'll have a little skim over some other things. We'll see, wow, look at the west. It really shouldn't be the west now. It should be the south. Can we change the name of it? High King Willard, the illustrious of the Westlands, with his ridiculous amount of children. There's 18 living members of House Lannister. Can we change the Kingdom of the West? I think I need to actually change to him, don't I? To change the name, so I'll have to do that. Console commands. because it shouldn't really be the Westerlands now, considering it is like pretty much the whole south. What's going on in Dawn? Because they look pretty vulnerable. We have Lord Hallamore, the Lame of Dawn, but the Torrentine is independent with House Dane. Does he have a son? Yes, he has a 1-year-old Dane son. So the Dane, I think the Dane line constantly lives on the edge of extinction as well. There's literally like one Dane who's 1 year old, so that's not good. But they are still in there. And the Stoneway, the Ironwoods are also independent and still around. I remember we had like 5 or 6 branches of House Ironwood at one point. It was like ridiculous. All the way up into the Riverlands. So yeah, House Ironwood's pretty secure in the Stoneway. Who do we have in the other lands up here? House Wheeler's still around. And he owns both of those lands. Are the Fowlers still around? No. Nestorian, Coldmoat, and of House Coldmoat. Interesting. Colton, they've been around for a hell of a long time. They used to be the kings. And there's another Ironwood. So a lot of the Dornish houses have died out by the looks of it. Such as House Uller and such. So that's a shame. Loads of random houses down here. I wonder if these will get conquered at some point. The Ghost Hills are also independent. The Torrentine. Oh, that's part of the Torrentine lands. Okay, interesting. And that's another Ironwood. Are the Gardeners still ruling in Highgarden? Yes, they are. Are the Redwinds still ruling in the Arbour? Yes. What about Old Town? Is it still the High Towers? No, it's another random house again. Florence are still around though, aren't they? Yes, they are. Did House Durrandon die out in Storm's End? I think they did. I think there are some Durrandons still around though. House Tarth is still going. I'm pretty sure there were some. Oh, wow, there's a ton of Durrandons still around, so hopefully they get their lands back at some point rather than a random house. It's annoying. Do we still have the Grands over here? Yes, we do. Lord Paramount Duncan the Distrustful. And then obviously the Lannisters with their 170,000 men. That is absolutely terrifying. Is Valyria that bit's independent? Yes, part of Valyria. Well, we had a look at the north in the last episode anyway, so we don't really need to look over that. Does have 2 daughters, but we're hopefully going to press Brandon Stark's claim at some point. I did hope to do it pretty soon with Aengar, but we missed out, obviously, considering what's happened to Aengar. Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, we have Lord Commander Toolheart still, whose house is now pretty much extinct. His heir is Master Manfred of Gravestown. Let's have a look who we've actually got in the Night's Watch these days. Court of 70. A Toolheart, a dragon. Oh my god, we've got a dragon on the wall. Oh my god. Joe Rack, the Hunter. A Forester, a Mollin. Quentin of Sevensport, whoever he is. Allender the Silent Watcher. What a name. Love that name. Oh, it's just Of Silent Watcher. I thought that was his nickname. I was going to say that's it. Awesome. We have a Fossaway, a Dark Dale, whoever they are. We have a Miles Creed. Owen Icemark. Aengar Bloom. Do we have anyone else of high birth that we know? An Alderman. That line is still going strong in the Farthest Fields. We have a Crow still going here. Another Forester. A Tyrosha, which is interesting. Pyron Greenstar. Okay. Eldrick Belmore. Raventree. We need to change that sigil, because that's a cool name. Marwyn Corbury. A Shycross. A Joss. I can't believe Corman Josser is still going. An Oxter. A Felly, whoever they are. A Waynwood. I mean, well, no idea what that is. A Templeton. Yes, we've got so many people at the Night's Watch. Who have we got at Eastwatch by the Sea? Anyone here that we know? We have Graydon Greycalf. That was a Greystark then. But we do have Maynard Greystark here at Eastwatch with his many animals. I'm glad that he's at Eastwatch, considering he does have a whale. That's pretty cool. You can just imagine the Night's Watch using his whale for ranging up and down the Shivering Sea. Who else do we have here? No one of high birth? No. At the Shadow Tower, it's ruled by a random first man, but we have a Grafton here. We have a Red Fort. Just a random of Coldmoat guy again. A Carnley. That's just a random house. And who do we have in Brandon's gift? Just a random Stormlander. Does he have anyone that we know under his control? No, he does not. So, it's pretty much our overview there that we've done. I think we've looked over everything. We've still got a lot of people with negative opinions, but they're not as bad as they was. There is a lot of green in there as well, so hopefully we can get things to recover. I still do need house names for several people, guys, so if you haven't suggested any yet, for these houses, then please do. Let's just find the characters again so that I can get you to suggest names for these guys. If I can find them. Where are they? They're in here somewhere. There was several of them, wasn't there? I'm pretty sure there was several of them. Maybe not. Maybe they're gone. Maybe they're not here anymore. Ah, Byam. I think he was one. Yeah, so we've got Sir Byam, who needs a house name. Who's this? Robert? No, he wasn't one of them. I've got no idea who he is. That's it, really. I think the other one might have been a vassal. Underneath the Eyrie, wasn't it? Whatever his name was, he was very, very, very impressive. What was his name again? He commanded one of the things under the Eyrie, one of the castles, and he really needed a second name because he was really, really good. He was very impressive. Is it Perrin Seric? No, it wasn't him. Who was it? Can't remember his name. I remember him popping up in the last episode, but now I can't remember his name. But he definitely needs to be given a proper house because he was really, really good. Was it this guy, Sir Darnold? May have been Darnold of Harbottle. No, it wasn't. I can't remember who it was. You guys will probably remember. But yeah, we'll end the overview video here, guys. Now we'll carry on as King Florian and see what awaits Andalia in the future. We need to rebuild the realm desperately. Hopefully Lionel Redguard can do it under his command, because that threat from the south is very, very threatening. Hopefully they just sit on what they've got, but I don't think they will. Their king seems very ambitious. It looks like he's trying to form Westeros. Hopefully he'll go for Dawn before us, because they're vulnerable, they're weak, they won't add too much manpower to him, and it gives us time to recover. And we chose our borders in the south here for these reasons. We've got the river and the Trident going all the way up here as defensive lands with the hills to the west. We've got the Vale and the Moat Cailin to fall back on if needed. We've got the Iron Islands, so we've got very good defensive borders. They might have the manpower, maybe, I imagine, when our manpower recovers, but we've definitely got the defensive, we've definitely got better defences. So that will hopefully help us out. Amazing castles as well. But yeah, we'll end it here. So thank you all so much for watching as always, guys. I hope you've enjoyed. Please don't forget to like and comment down below, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon for the next episode.